Welcome back to Trigun Anime Review Part 6. This is reviewing the last 3 episodes of the Trigun anime. And yes, they're all filler. Pretty Yep. Now, these 3 episodes, their titles are Sin, Live Through, and Under the Blue Sky. Yep. Sin. The last episode to feature Legato. And features the character Jazz. Basically, the gun hoes are pretty much taking care of this whole episode. So, pretty much for this episode, as of this point, up until we reach the final episode of the series, like, all the villains, basically, all the recurring ones, have all been taken care of by this episode. Yep. Basically, we have Vash, who has to basically deal with the last couple of people anyways, though he confesses to Meryl, like, who Knives is. Basically, he's his brother. Doesn't say he's his twin brother, but he's his brother. And basically kind of explains a bit of his backstory and kind of reveals, yeah, he's responsible for the disappearances. By the way, the reason for the disappearances is never explained of why he was doing this. It's a plot thread that was set up back in episode, like, 18, and it just never brought up again. It was brought up once in episode 23, in 22 I think it was, and that was it. Yeah, that mysterious plot thread that we're supposed to be exploring in these filler episodes is just dropped for no explained reason. So, he confronts Jazz, battles him for a little while, gives little ricochets off his little trombone, his weapon trombone, fires it, and it explodes. Yep, this is a pretty weak battle. And then comes Legato, who basically hasn't come to mountain, and then forces Vash to pretty much kill him. Yep, though he eventually drags Meryl and Millie with him, and he just basically just shoots him like frickin' crazy, and eventually forces Vash to frickin' kill him. Yep, kills off the second main antagonist of the series. Yep. And, like, the next episode is, simply put, deal with the aftermath of what happened last week, which made sense. And he is basically emotionally scarred from killing Legato, despite the fact he was an evil dude. And also it's revealed that his left arm actually was Vash's arm. Yep. Knives just gave him his arm. Because it was actually revealed in a flashback that Knives basically shot off his arm during the events of Lost July. Yeah. And, like, now they mentioned Rem is brought up many times in this episode. I mean, she mentioned my name. And here's kind of the dumb thing I don't like about this episode. Vash never explains to Meryl who Rem is. Yeah. Never mentions. Like, he mentions the name many times, and the fact that Meryl reminds him of Rem. Does he bring this up to her? No. It is by far the biggest weakness of this episode, is that we have a character who is mentioned frequently by Vash. Now, Knives is explained to Meryl. It's implied that he may explain this to Rem to Meryl, but that apparently was done off screen. At some point, it's like we're missing like a bunch of dialogue here. Yeah. And he stays in the town recovering from his massive amount of injuries he suffered. And all of a sudden, like, he just sits outside while the girls are working. Like, Meryl works at a bar and Millie works basically to get by, which makes sense. Well, in the case of Millie, because she's super strong. Excuse me. Yeah. And then pretty much a driver just happens to spot him. By the way, the cat, that's a recurring element in the series. Yeah, or people think this is Vash. Yeah, there's no explanation of what this cat is, or what type of species this cat is. Just there's some random cat that just happened to show up. And this driver just happens to see Vash, knows exactly who he is, and he proceeds to run away. And have a bunch of people just come after him, and them try to kill him. and Meryl basically just talks him down. And of course, later in the episode, they sing a song, and apparently, like at one point, that Vosh hugs Meryl for a little too long, and she hits him in the head, basically bops him in the head, which is, I can think of, the first time ever in the series that Meryl has ever hit Vosh. Because if you look at it, in all the previous episodes, Meryl has never once even hit Vosh. And this is by far the first and only time in the series that these two have ever touched each other. Yep, the only time. Which I'm thinking, okay, Meryl, you've been with this guy at this point for 25 episodes, and prior to this one, you two have never touched each other, not even shook hands, nothing. Yeah, I will get to some things that basically I thought in a minute, basically what that the series was lacking. Okay, now pretty much thanks to this next episode goes confront Knives. Yep, just go confront him. Somehow, well, he kind of found in episode 23 where he is. Yeah, apparently he's at a place similar to that place they went to back in episode 11, I think it was. 11 or 12. It was one of those early canon episodes. The one where Vosh, actually it was episode 13. It was, I think it was 14. It was one of those episodes where Vosh is basically absent for most of the episode. Yeah. When I'm surprised that Vosh doesn't walk up to him and says, "Oh, hi Knives. How are you? I came to beat the crap out of you." And then proceed to draw guns on each other and proceed to a big gun battle, which has it where you have Vosh sort of have it evolve form his big cannon arm. They've shown doing like a few times in the series. It basically forms like this weird, like giant shoulder thing. Like, what the heck is this? And apparently, like the other gun that was seen frequently in the opening credits, that was actually Knives' gun. Yeah, and apparently it's revealed that he actually, there's many shocking revelations revealed in this episode. One, that apparently Knives made the guns. Two, the guy who Knives killed in the flashback that was first revealed in a canon episode was actually someone connected to the Rim. Yeah, and he was the one who basically forced Vosh to destroy Lost July. Yep. It was all Knives. Because it's the main villain of the series. Why not reveal a lot of the stuff related to the series? By the way, Knives has got no connection to Meryl or Millie. Yeah. He never even counters these two the whole series. I'm like, seriously? You're the main villain of the series and you don't basically interact with her like any of the characters outside of your own group? Yeah, I'll get to more of that soon. Yep. And, by the way, I should point out, though, that the title of the final episode, Under the Sky So Blue, is actually, believe it or not, a nod to the opening theme song, which is played throughout all the episodes. And then after their amazing gun battle, basically where Vosh basically shoots him all four limbs, shoots him also in his side, bandages him up, puts him on his shoulder, takes off his coat, leaves it behind along with his gun, probably signify the series is over, walks back to town. Oh yeah, before he leaves, basically Millie's like, "Hey, you can tell him everything you want to tell him when he gets back." Probably to tell him, and this is my personal theory, that she's in love with him. Yeah. A plot thread that goes nowhere, because it was heavily implied throughout the anime that she had feelings for him. A thing that, and also, you'll see her briefly in episode 25, basically sewing up Vosh's coat. Yeah, sews up his coat. Sews up like all the damage basically done in the previous episode. Yep. And it seems like the series had okay. It's not a terrible ending to the series. It's not the worst ending I've seen for an anime. But this ending feels pretty lackluster, let's say the least. The battle between Knives and Vosh was great. Probably the best highlight of the episode. The problem with this episode is the fact it ended so abruptly when it did. And apparently, the writer of the series actually is fine with the ending of the series. To me, and this is my personal thing with this, they should have continued with adapting the Trigun Maxim manga. But no, we have to basically do a bunch of filler stuff. Yep. Yeah, I will give my final thoughts on the actual whole series as a whole when I get to part 7. But as for this particular series right now, like, the stuff they have in the manga was really good. I mean, I would say the first one they did, episode 4, was okay. It was a pretty decent story, but once you get to episode 5, that's where the series really hits its stride for basically what the series is known for. It's really good. I would say from 5 to pretty much 21, really good episodes. Why 21? Because I kind of feel as though that pretty much after that, like up until like because for here's the thing, for the next 2 episodes for 22, 23, those two weakness of those 2 episodes is the writing. For in the case of 22, it's the worst episode when it comes to writing. And it's a weak way to set up a very well told episode 23. And in the case of these last 3 episodes, 24 was, I think it was pretty decent for what it was. 25 was an amazing episode. I thought it was odd. And here's the thing about 26, the final episode of the series, I almost forgot to mention. Part of the episode, I would say about 5 minutes of the episode is stock footage of basically Bosch fighting all the villains in the Gung Ho group. Though apparently they don't show, like, I would say that all the ones they show from the anime, I see probably the best one is probably him versus Dominique. That one I liked the most because that was actually full of some comedy. The other ones are just so dark. Yeah. But not much else to say about these 3 episodes. And I didn't feel as disappointed with this ending, despite the fact it is a anime original ending for the series, despite the fact I prefer the manga ending for this particular series. If you wonder what the anime was, the manga's ending was actually quite interesting. It was a really good ending to the manga. I kind of wish we got that instead of this. Yeah, the thing with the filler episodes is that I kind of felt as though that dialogue, I would say like good chunks of dialogue that I kind of felt this probably should have been here, was cut for no explained reason. Like, somehow, like, a conversation to bring up Rem. I mean, you bring up the fact that Knives is Vash's brother, but then after that fact, it's like the dialogue becomes muted for some reason, and then, like, okay, I get the fact, yes, he probably explained the events of what happened in episode 17, 18, but could you at least have him basically... I get the fact that the reason why they did that, and this is my personal theory, because we've already sat through those events, we don't have to go through them again. Like, okay, but you could bring up the fact, like, you could say, you could have briefly cut away to... You could have this sort of scene sort of intersplice what happened with the events of 17. You could have done that, but no, you couldn't. Yeah. Also, there was another thing about the series that was never explained. Millie's raw strength. Where the heck came from? No idea. Yeah, but I can't think of much anything else to say about these 3 episodes. 26 was a pretty good episode, but the best one is 25. 25 is a great episode. It is really good. I kind of wish we got more episodes of the series like this, and I kind of wish the series continued. But the series itself didn't last very long. It only lasted from April to like September of 1998. It is not exactly one of my oldest series I've done. Currently, right now, Rama Half is the oldest series I've done. This is not the only series I reviewed that basically started the 90s for anime wise. Because the other anime I've watched that made a debut in the 1990s, aside from this one, has been Cardcaptor Sakura, Yu Hakusho. Let's see, there's also the original Hunter x Hunter series, Case Closed, One Piece, and I think that's it. Overall, I think it's about. I think it's 6 series right now. Yeah, it's pretty much like this is by far the sixth series that made its debut in the 1990s that I have personally reviewed that I can think of, anyways. Actually, no, this is the seventh because Flames of Record also made its debut in the 1990s. Though, like with that particular series, this series adaptation was not finished for some unknown reason. I don't know why. So, with that out of the way, what is left to review for Trigun? Well, we're thinking, wait, what about reviewing the manga? I have no plans to read the manga. Manga's finished. It's good. I highly recommend reading that and the Trigun and the original Trigun manga. Yeah, and it's something though that the now, in case you're wondering, when it comes to adaptation wise, would you say that this series did fully adapt the series? The first series, it did adapt the whole thing in just episode 27 of episodes 1, 3, 6, 11, and 13. With the exception of these five, they pretty much adapted. They finished adapting this just bad. So, if the series did come back, I would probably suggest just calling it Trigun Maximum, just like the actual name of the manga itself. Take that name and just adapt the rest of the original manga. Though, here's kind of the thing. I would definitely keep. Now, 2021, great. I love this stuff. Yeah, I think that should be kept canon. The rest of the stuff from 22 onwards, 22, 26, ignore that. You can imply that the events of those things did happen, but if you want to be full canon, be my guest. But that's up to this who made this series, which is Madhouse. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this particular review. Several reviews can be. I hear me. Case close. So, hearing me review the Trigun film. Let's see, there's also Black Butler I want to do tomorrow, and probably maybe the first review for you to watch because I'm gonna start that tomorrow, anyways. Yeah, so aside from that, not much else. Okay, but do you see you next few. Bye.